the ability to understand who you are, what you bring to the table, and your self-worth and your value. If you're being purposeful, you obviously know what you're supposed to do on this earth, or you know who you are as a woman or a man. And a lot of times when we date people, we don't necessarily get who they are. And the more we begin to date them, we start to understand their personality, their character. We start to see the things that, that aren't cute, that the things that we didn't see in the beginning. And so then you start compromising on things that you wouldn't normally compromise, because at this point now it's time in. Now you've dated this person for so long. But I just want to tell whoever, don't ever compromise your value. And I tell people this all the time, and I tell my daughter this, because when you go into one of these high-end stores like Louis Vuitton or like, Fendi or whatever brand, you go into these stores, the price on that bag, that item, whatever it is that you're getting, they don't care about no coupon. They don't care about you saying, well, I got a 20% off. No. The price of that item is the price of that item. And when you take that item up to the cashier to pay for it, that's the price. So when I say that, their value is that. They're not going to lower it. They're not going to compromise with you. And that's how we have to look at dating. That's how we have to look at the people we choose to allow in our lives. We teach people how to treat us. And you don't fight every battle, but in certain instances, if a person isn't treating you what you are worth, if that person isn't treating you how much your value is, then don't stand for that. Because it's better to be alone than to be living a lie. It's better to keep your value, your dignity, and your worth. Because I don't know about you, but it took me a minute to get to this place that I'm in. I've had to go through a lot of growing pains. I've had to do a lot of crying. I've had to do a lot of praying to be the woman that I am. This ain't just, and I get emotional when I talk about this, because I didn't just become this, I had to go through a lot to be this woman that I am. So you never let a person, and I get emotional, and this is not in particular anything that has anything to do with anything, but this is me just saying to you guys, don't allow nobody. If you going around and your character is good, if your value is of a high esteem and you're treating people right and you do people right, you demand those same things in return, because you're worth it. And don't ever let a person treat you inferior. Don't ever let a person treat you of anything other than what you're worth. And I mean that. And I say that with everything in me, because I know how it feels to feel worthless. I know how it feels to not be at your best in the inside. I know how it feels to depend on somebody emotionally. I know these things, and I'm just grateful that I'm in a place where I can stand on my own. And when a person does something, I know how to correct it. I know how to remove myself. I'm not scared to be alone, And people seem to think that when you are single, or even if you're in a relationship and you living separately or whatever the case may be, they think that you're automatically lonely. No, lonely is a state of mind. It's okay to be single, because if it compromises everything that you've grown into, it's not worth it. If a relationship or a person compromises your value, it's not worth it, because they're not going to do the same thing when it comes to you. And that's just that on that. We have to start acting like we know who we are. We have to start acting like our worth and the value of who we are is not compromisable. It's just not. You can't compromise everything you have grown into. So I'm not going to get on here and I'm not going to go too deep off the end, but I felt compelled to get on here and say that, because I know too, I've dealt with things. You out here dating, and you out here, what I'm saying, maneuvering in this world. A lot of times we feel like we are forced to deal with people because we've been with them so long. We got to stop thinking that time equals loyalty. Thinking that time that we've spent with a person, that you can't get it back. I always say the only real currency we have is time. So at the end of the day, I look at life as lessons, not losses. So if a person, if it's the end of the road for a situation, it's the end of the road for a situation. And it's a way that you can do things. But like I said, never compromise your value and your self-worth. Never do it. Never. You guys have a beautiful Sunday. Peace, light, and love.